A sleep clinic, a group of exhausted narrators, and dreams that don't stay in the dark. Every night in October, nightmares become reality. Listen to this epic 31-part saga where the only thing scarier than the dreams is the therapy. Creepy presents The 31 Days of Horror. The nightmare begins October 1st. Listen to the whole series on the Creepy feed wherever you listen to podcasts. Wake up to the nightmare.
We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel, because let's face it, baby, these days, you gotta have a sequel.
And welcome back to Microqueers. It's our sporadic horror movie review, and I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're going back into the world of horror shorts with a look at Picture, a film written and directed by Sadé Sellers, who listeners might remember from our episodes on Orphan and Alien 3.
Indeed, yes. So Sadé has made the leap into directing and writing, and we've got this cutie little 7-minute short. It's very much proof of concept, but Trace, in case people have not checked out the short, what is the logline?
Yeah, so the logline for this one is, when Britt, played by Danielle Jalaid, receives a vintage Polaroid, its haunting power soon turns every flash into a step towards something she can't escape.
You know what? That's a good description.
It is a good description. I think it's important to note, too, that this was actually, this was a pitch that Sadé had sent over to Hulu when they were accepting pitches for Huluween. And it did not get accepted. And so she, I think she's like, well, cool, I'm going to make my own short about it. Cool, I'm going to make my own short out of it. And that's where this comes from.
Yeah, and I think this has a really good foundation. Like, it's got good bones. You can tell the possibility of the story. I think part of this is that this is a true short. As I said, it's 7 minutes, I think 9.5 minutes with credits and so on. So the story that it's telling is quite simple, and I liked it, but as I said, it was a little simple. So, I don't think that there's a ton for us to discuss.
Yeah, and I don't know how many pitches Hulu gets for this kind of Huluween thing, but I thought this was a really interesting concept. I mean, it kind of has kind of my favorite stuff. I'm a sucker for the, oh my god, every photo, the thing's getting closer and closer and closer. And I do think that Jalaid does pretty well with the limited screen time she has, because she has, as you said, 7 minutes to work through this. I do think some of it maybe is a little bit derivative of the curse in Drag Me to Hell, where it's if you have the curse, you got to pass it on by taking a picture of someone else, or even the entity getting closer in the images. That really reminded me of that moment in the first Insidious film, whenever we have all those pictures of Patrick Wilson's character as a child, as the bride in black kind of gets closer and closer. But here's the thing, it may be derivative of that, but it's effective.
That's the thing. There's a reason that everybody goes back to this well. By the way, I love that your reference was Drag Me to Hell for passing the curse along, as opposed to something like The Ring, but okay.
Well, I know, but you're probably right. But also, we're assuming that this even, The Ring is the first one to do this. I'm sure many other curse movies have done this. But I guess I was thinking, well, in Drag Me to Hell, you just got to give someone a button. In The Ring, you got to, sit them down. You got to show them a videotape. Hope they stay through the whole thing.
Yeah. And here, really, it is kind of dead simple, where if you want to pass this along, you just have to take a Polaroid of them. One of the things that I loved is that it doesn't buy you more time. If there's one piece that I think, as a proof of concept, if you wanted to expand this out, I do think you would have to do a fairly substantial amount of work. I think you'd have more time to play with it, because this feels very compacted, but I like the tension within the short of, well, just because we pass the Polaroid on to somebody else doesn't mean that it resets or anything.
Yes!
So this creature is still right there. So I really like that the shopkeep character, who is played by Corey Jacob, throughout the short, when you see him, he looks increasingly more desperate and almost a little bit sad. Clearly his first choice was not to give it to Britt, but he was desperate and he ran out of time. But I like that when she passes it along to her friend Chris, who is played by Jalen Hall, it didn't buy Chris any more time.
No.
And that's part of the strength of ending the short on this sort of cliffhanger, everybody screaming, oh my God moment, because you just think, oh wow, okay, so this is accelerated. There's a finite amount of time before this thing will come for you, and it just depends on who has the Polaroid at that time.
I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head for me there as to why I think this could work as a feature-length film, because it's almost like a game of curse hot potato,
right?
And you've got to get it out of, as long as the curse isn't on you and timer runs out, you're good. But you're right, this isn't reset. It's not like, oh, we get the 3 days to start over for the curse. No. If it's about to kill her and she takes a picture, then bam. So I could see a version of this where it's a bunch of friends and they have to kind of make these kind of moral decisions as to who they're going to give it to, but also when, and hope that they don't get it back in time before the thing reaches them.
Yeah, because, we don't know a ton about these characters. We barely know anything about Britt or Chris, apart from the fact that they're friends. They're hanging out at this cool-looking shop, which is apparently a real store in Los Angeles, so jealous. But, I kind of like that. From what we know of Britt, she seems like she has a pretty good relationship with Chris, and yet when push comes to shove, she's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta get rid of this. It's her problem now.
To be clear, though, Chris was pretty nonchalant whenever she was telling him this story, and he kind of goes just, well, that sucks. And it's like, okay, it does suck, actually.
You know what, buddy? It sucks for you because it's your problem now.
And I did want to point out, too, that Sadé did ensure a 60-40 female-to-male crew ratio while showcasing diversity in sexuality, race, and disability with this short film, too. So I assume that if this did make the leap into feature film, then she would continue that mantra.
Yeah, and I like highlighting that because I do think it's still so important to try to shoot for, hey, we're living in a day and age when DEI is apparently a nasty term. So I'm happy to see that we're living in a day and age where there are still some people who don't take it for granted that having diversity on hand is a strength as opposed to a weakness.
Yeah. But overall, I think this is a totally solid proof of concept. I would like to see where this would go. I'd also like to figure out why this was the one Sadé picked, because I believe she said she pitched Hulu 5 different options, and this is the one she settled on to make a short of.
Yeah, I wonder if this was one of those, the concept was good enough, it was fixed with a limited number of actors so we could do it with the money that we had. But I think in terms of what you can do with the resources that you've got, this is solid.
Totally agree. So everyone, let us know, what did you think of this short film? And go back and listen to those Orphan and Alien 3 episodes if you want to get a taste of Sadé's film taste, because she was a really fun guest.
Yes, indeed.
But until next time, we can cross out picture.
Yes, and cross out micro queers.
How can I describe this catastrophe? I had worked hard for nearly 2 years, that I might infuse a spark of being into the lifeless thing that lay at my feet. I beheld the wretch, the miserable monster whom I had created.
Regarding Frankenstein is crowdfunding now. Go to bit.ly/REFrankenstein to support the show.